Hey guys, Aaron here once more again, and today for all of you another Gunpla review. I know we haven't done a Gunpla review in a good while, but this right here is going to be the G Portent from Gundam Fighters Try, piloted by Shio Kojima. This actually is a Gunpla that I released all the way back, I think it was like 2014, 2015. This actually was one of my first two Gunplas I actually acquired. As my very first one was the Tri Burning Gundam, which I still need to get me another version of that one, along with the G Portent and the Gundam Estrella with the Dark Matter. Well, not this one. This is the second version of my high-grade Estrella, along with the Dark Matter as well. As my very first four Gunplas, basically all of them being Exia variants, with the one being the Burning one, going to my motif. Overall, this right here was actually a pretty nice Gunpla when it came out, and that's just one of my favorites. Actually, it was this one right here, along with the Transy Gundam, that gave me hope that Bandai was going to do revives of the Exia variants, but they never did, which was a disappointment towards my end. But regardless, these were fantastic when it came out. But without further ado, folks, dive right in with everything the Gundam Portent comes with. And we are back into this basically everything the G Portent comes with. Well, mostly everything. I will say this, because like I've mentioned before in the past when I've been doing a lot of my Gunpla reviews, is that a lot of my Gunpla reviews, most of my Gunplas technically have their stuff on hand. Any of the extra stuff, I either have put away in storage, so I don't really have a lot of it on hand. But right now, there's everything that my G Portent had on hand right now. With her G sword, with the GM beam blade right here, which is basically just a whole solid part, clear part right here. With the actually put the stick right here. I will say this: I did build two versions of the G Portent. One of my other versions, I actually did modify and paint this for a different variation, which I was using for my custom Estrella right here. But this is actually a two-plated plastic right here for the hilt right there. You can see right there. That's actually two plastic right there that hold off the clear part for the beam blade. Overall, not bad at all. It does come, I will say this does come with technically 5 manipulator hands, if I remember correctly. It has the two holding hands, which are currently on the weapons themselves right now at the moment, holding them. Then it has two closed hands and one open palm hand for the left side. But right now, those hand pieces, I have no clue where they're at. I do apologize for that, but they do exist. So if you get this, you do have a couple more manipulator hands. You have the beam rod for the cells, which is actually multi-plastic right here. It's actually, I think what's it called, 4 or 5... I think it's like 6 parts of plastic right here with the 2 white parts here, the 2 gray parts here. The nozzle here is separated as well. This does come with a stick right here. I will say this, for a lot of this, since this was my second version of my G Portent, I didn't put most of the stickers on here because I was going to paint this later. Never got around to it. I probably will get around to it this time around. Oh, what's it called? Overall, it's a good solid piece. Plastic actually does have some color variations. Just a little bit painted. It is a little bit required if you are going to do this, but it's not that much that you're going to need. Right now, the two manipulator hands are currently on the blades right here. I do have their sticker sheet because I did actually put those on there for the meantime. Like I said before, it's like 5 in total for the hand manipulators. 2 closed ones, the two holding hand ones, which are on the weapons themselves that you see right here, and one open palm one that is somewhere around here. Along with that, she does come with the 2 beam sabers, which one of the things I actually do like about this variation of the G Portent is that the beam sabers actually stick onto the back. Basically the same nod. Actually, it's a little bit more modification mod towards the ones that the high-grade Exia, or what's called Estrella, would have. As actually right here, you see this between, because I do have my Estrella right next to me, where the holster is right here. But the difference between the G Portent is that this is movable, so this one actually can go up and down, which is actually something the RG versions of the Exia and the Estrella RG actually do. So they actually were able to do that. With the high grade, was actually pretty nice. Besides the 2 beam sabers, it does come with 4 beam blades, but almost only we're finding 3 right now at the moment. The 2 regular long ones, and then 2 short ones, because actually it's able to converge the short ones, the long ones, and short ones. Actually, right there, it does. So it does technically come with 4. But right now, it's only finding 3. But you're able to convert it between 2 of the short ones or 2 of the long ones. Along with that, we have the little container right here. This actually contains, in the show, if you watch Gundam Fighters Try, this right here container actually holds the Haros, which actually are like healer units, that in case the G Portent or any of its partner units gets damaged and whatnot, the Portent actually is a support unit as well. Can actually support and repair either itself or allied teammates during the battle, with the mini Haros going in to repair. So it's actually the little container holder. I will say this: when I built my very first, what's it called, G Portent, I broke, not this, I broke this, and this is something I didn't learn until later down the line, because this is on a C-clip right here, where this is like cooked and connected right here. I broke this, And this is, I will say, this is my early years of building Gunpla. I did not know how to fix that for a long time, so I just super glued this, and so the movability for this never came back. Now, that was my first G Portent. This is my second one right now. It wasn't later down the line I learned about, plastic cement and whatnot to be able to repair that and whatnot and fix that, which is what I did. So now that's fixed. But I didn't learn that during the beginning years. That was something I learned later down the line, which is I've been doing lately now. Because what's called plastic cement, which I do have my plastic cement right here. It's a godsend when you break anything, especially when it comes to anything on C-clips, because that is a bane of existence to any Gunpla builder when it comes to, to C-clips, because they like to break a lot. But this actually goes in the back of the G-Portent right here, and this basically just moves around and does able to swivel a little bit, you can see right there. Along with the G-Portent, we also got the backpack parts attachment to it. This right here is all the particle effect blades. These go to the back side of the G-Portent right here, where you actually attach them to the side right here. And these right here, along with the blades, the backpack piece right there, along with the blades, now let's actually do this a little bit more, along with these blades right here, are actually all meant, basically, they're also offensive weaponry, but also defensive weaponry, as they're also meant to basically generate the GN field that the G-Portent uses, as you see during the show, to be basically a very powerful defense. And these attached all to the forearms, as all the forearms has 3mm peg points, which is actually pretty good because not only can you put, not only does the G-Portent have hard points that you can put on there, which is actually pretty great, but also the fact that you can swap out any of these blades for any weapon you can put attached onto is actually pretty great. So the G-Portent actually also, kind of like with the Estrella, when it has its hard points, can actually attach any weaponry. Just the only difference between my Estrella when it's using its hard points, well, right now it's not, because right now it's the F2 configuration. But if it was in its Type F configuration, it will be able to attach any of its, well, the 00 weaponry. The G-Portent can actually attach any weaponry that has 3mm pegs, which a lot of Gunpla nowadays is what it uses, so the G-Portent actually has a little bit more extension on that. And overall, the G-Portent looks pretty great. This actually, when the G-Portent was built, it was designed for what's called femininity, when it comes to almost all the 00 designs. It's the most effeminate one, as this comes along with the fact that it takes Q points from the Noble Gundam and the Nodley, which I actually do have my Nodley right here, right now, and I do have my Noble Gundam right here. So I actually do have all the 3 most feminine Gunplas right here of all time. I do have them here. 4 was the Estrella. Oh no. But we'll be moving the Nodley. Oh no. I'll move these guys there because I actually will do that when we do size comparisons for everybody else. But overall, I do like designing the G-Portent. There is a lot of stickers painting that needs to be done at the forehead, and I kind of did not put the sticker on there. So what's it called? I was going to, but you know what? I'm just going to paint that. Overall, it's pretty good. I do like the design of it. And it is, like what I said before, it is modernized. So unlike with the old 00s, where they're basically the single joint right here, like we usually see on the, let's go with my Estrella, with its just single joint right there. The G-Portent has the double jointed arms, which actually makes it much more posable, which is what we want. Well, we'll do the articulation in a bit, but a lot of the upgrades that I was hoping that we would later get revives of 00 Exia or Estrella, but we never did, but that's fine. Overall, the G-Portent was in a cup success. It's just pretty good amount, not bad. What's it called? I wish I could show you the rest of it, but a lot of it's basically just like some of the player hams that are missing another beam saber. And that's pretty much it in sticker sheet, but a lot of the stickers are really just like the foil ones that go on the particle effect parts you see right here, because they're on there. You can see the reflective nips right there. Actually, right there, you can see the reflectiveness that they are in there. I did do for the particle effect ones, doesn't do any for the outside one, but that's pretty much fine. Overall, this is the amount of accessories the G-Portent comes with. That's just pretty not bad, especially for the price range. I think for this one was around, what was it, like $16 when it first initial release. I have no clue how much it is now, but it probably is if you do go on any of the websites. Probably still is the regular price plus whatever shipping. Now it's out of the way, let's go with the articulation for this. And we're back action, and we're going to do the articulation, but we're actually going to do 2 folds of articulation. We're going to do it with the base form by itself, basically with most of its accessories, basically it's all of its equipment attachment. And then once we finish doing the base accessories, we're actually going to do the accessories, all the extra stuff that comes with it. So before things first, with the head accessory, with the hair articulation, as it is on a regular ball joint. I can spin around, no problem at all. I can do the bob and weave like most Gunpla can do. And this is technically a little bit more modern. It is on a ball joint right here, so I actually can spin around, no problem at all. And it actually has a little bit much more movement joint right here. So So you're going up and down, which is pretty great. Go all the way like that. Ooh. Up and down, since it basically doesn't have any shoulder or whatnot, so it doesn't really affect it too much, where its articulation is pretty great. Its arm can spin around. It is on a double ball joint, as you can see right here. So what's it called? You can just do this. Either do that one, or you can do this one right here for the articulation, so you can actually do that. Or you can do this, and then this. It's not bad at all. For the double joint right there. And then on the hand, it's on a single ball joint, which is like most Gunpla right there. Going on for its waist, actually, since this is technically like a lot more modern, it does have an ab joint right there, so it actually can spin around. No problem at all. And does have an ab joint because it is has double torso in there. Actually, right there. It's got one polycap in there for ab joints, so I can do that, and then another polycap right there for the torso waist, so I can spin around, which is pretty nice. So they would spin around no problem at all. Its legs right here can do the split. Mostly. Just gotta angle this a little bit much more better for the, but it can do the split, which is what we want. Leg can go all the way up, though it's a little bit blocked by some of its armor joint right there, so let's go, just gotta angle this a little bit more so we can do that all the way to the back. But once again, because sometimes the fact that this is even smaller, back, what's called back skirt, is it kind of blocking it, so it can only go like angle wise for like the full length. It's pretty much fine. What's called, its feet are double jointed, so it can go like that. Not bad at all, because it does have like almost all the 001s. It's also got shoulder armor right there. The leg right there, up and down, does this separate a little bit. So what's called, let me just, it's been a while since what's called I've really dealt with the Portent, so it's actually a little bit stiff, so I do apologize for that. This does come on its own C-clip right here, so it does move up and down. Ooh. But it does come like to fall off every once in a while. And this does go up and down. And this is technically on a bolt joint too, but the bolt joint's actually a little bit stuck and stiff right there. But it does have a little bolt joint right there because it is supposed to move. And actually, I have to probably put some oil or something right there to actually have it move around, because actually it's kind of stuck. It's actually never happened before, but you know what? It happens when you don't really deal with your Gunpla in a while, because it's supposed to move back and forth, but it's actually kind of stuck right there. But I'll deal with that. So technically, articulation is still pretty good. It is technically meant for like the modern standards for Gunpla right there. Now let's add the rest of the equipment to actually see the full articulation for it. And we're back, and now with the board and basically now fully armed right here. Let's see, go with the articulation for the extra parts, or the blades right here. Since they are now basically pack points, these actually can spin around, no problem at all. The only thing that will hinder them will be basically because the other parts will hinder them a little bit. Same thing with over here. These arm blades right here can move around, go up and down, like that, because they are taking on their own hinge joints right here. Just got to be careful right here, because they sometimes do break off. So just like maybe some putty with cement to like just reharden it. Right here can spin around. Just got to make sure the blades right here don't basically block right here, but it can spin around. The extra parts for detachment to the backpack right here can move around kind of like that, up and down, left and right. A little bit wiggle. That's all the attachment right there. The beam sabers on the back, once they're put on there, can actually move up and down, because that's how they're, so you can basically, they either be down when basically they're by themselves, or up when you need to use them for battle. And then the container for the Haros basically can go up and down, and actually can spin around, but right now, because right now all the equipment's on top of it, it's kind of blocking it, and then can wiggle up and down. Overall, the articulation isn't bad, especially once it has all of its stuff onto it. Overall, pretty decent articulation, but I do say so myself, and yeah. Now let's go with some size comparisons with other Gunpla I have lying around, or anything else I have lying around. And since we're kind of in the double O mood, let's bring out most of the double O Gunplas. We're actually going to leave my stray at last, because what's called it is technically the last one. Starting off with one of the units actually does inspire this one, minus the Exia. We're going to go with my Gundam Nodlay right here, which is actually one of my earlier double O units I actually did get, and still one of my favorites. Overall, you can see the difference design-wise, with the Nodlay being when basically the most effeminate at the time during double O, well, next to the Exia, because both of them technically are. Right here was the design-wise, you can see why It got inspired along with Noble Gundam 2 and the Exia. So right now, when it comes to Exia units, I kind of don't have any right now in stock at the moment, besides my RG, but I have no clue where the RG's at. So in the meantime, we will be having to borrow my amazing Exia as the only other Exia unit that I have, but still as Exia as it can be. As the thing right here actually won't be, actually when it comes to like tournament wise, or at least lore wise, I think it'll be like what 5 years difference between when the amazing Exia appeared in the Gundam Build Fighters towards like what 5 years when the G Portent appears. I forget the timeline for Gundam Build Fighters and Try. I'm pretty sure it's like a 5 year difference, 5 or 7 year difference, one of the two. Along was the amazing Exia right there. We do have my Exia Dark Matter because I always do keep one in stock right now, though right now it's in its regular base form right now, since I was going to be doing other stuff with it right now, but I never got around to doing it. They're usually all the double self are usually around the same size, 5 to 6 inches, and might as well bring the Estrella right now, but it will come back later down the line. This is the mascot himself. That's what we always have to do them. They're around like I mentioned before, 5 to 6 inches. And actually, look, I should find my measuring tape. I should just find this eventually. I will say that the Portent might be a little bit slightly taller, just only for the back equipment might be making it a little bit much more taller. Only by a little bit. Let's go with another Gunpla that actually inspired this too, my Noble Gundam, because I actually do have one. I was always trying to, I kind of regret not getting the Berserker one when I got the opportunity to, but I'm so glad I got what's called Noble when I did. So I will say this Noble is actually a little bit much more shorter than regularly speaking. Actually, it's barely under like the 5 inch mark right there. With the G Portent being a little bit much more taller. That's also, I kind of feel like because of the Portent also has like stilts on them, or high heels, kind of makes it a little bit much more taller. Going from some other my Gunpla that I also have lying around. We have my Narrative Type C Gundam, which is actually pretty tall because it's a new Gundam type. My Perfect Strike right now, which is in the regular form right here. Basically still around the same size, like 6 inches, like always. My Gym Sniper Custom. My P Bandai Gym Sniper Custom, I will say so myself. Actually, we'll do a review of this one too, because this one was actually a birthday gift from my buddy, which I do appreciate. And it's actually a pretty good model kit, and I'm actually kind of glad because this was a P Bandai one. Talking about another Gym Sniper, here's my Gym Sniper 2 K9 from also Gundam Build Fighters, though the original Build Fighters, not just Try, but the pilots do appear later down the line. So not the main Gunpla, but technically her rival, because I do have the G Cardigan, because I do have Famina's G Cardigan, which actually, not gonna lie, I kind of prefer this a little bit much more better. And then to the Star Winning, though I do like the Star Winning in full real mode, which I do have it somewhere around here, but I need to find it. But right now, the G Cardigan I'll have to do. I will do a review of the G Cardigan as well, because it's actually still a great kit, despite it also being an older kit. Because kind of like with the Estrella Type F, the amount of accessories the Cardigan comes with is pretty great. And then finishing off with the Starville Strike. Overall, pretty great. Same, basically the G Portent base is average Gunpla size, like always, like around the 5 inch mark. Overall, pretty great. Now, with that away, folks, let's dive right in with the final thoughts. And with that, folks, that is it for the review for the G Portent, or the Gundam Portent from Gundam Build Fighters Try, piloted by Kojima. Overall, pretty phenomenal kit. I will say so myself. It's actually one that we don't see a lot nowadays, especially I don't think a lot of the Gundam Build Fighters Try kits get reprinted. The last time they got printed, I think, was like either 2 or 3 years ago. That was the last time I think we got these reprinted. Overall, still phenomenal kit. I think when this came out, it was like around 20-ish bucks, if I remember correctly. Or at least that's what I remember when I got paid. Probably right now, it's probably price-wise, probably between the 20 to 25 probably range right now, depending on which site you get it from. Either that or still in around its $16 to $18 range, but you got probably pay shipping and handling. Depends on wherever location you get it. I know in Gundam Planet, they probably still had it like a while ago. I don't know if that's cool right now, or we're going to be Wave 30 store. You just got to go check and see whether or not they still have it in stock. Still pretty good, phenomenal kit. This is actually one of the kits I was actually, since when this one right here in the Transient Gundam released, I was hoping they were down the line. We were actually going to get revive units for 00 for the Exia or the Estrella, but we never got those. Those were like a little my hopeful stuff, but you know what, that's fine. Overall, still fairly phenomenal kit. Articulation is still pretty good. The accessories that it comes with is pretty good. for the price range that it comes with. Overall, pretty good model kit, I do say so myself. And one you don't see nowadays, because basically it's one of those now old rare kits that you basically just gotta find that. If you do find it, you're probably gonna be paying a good price, depending if you go like sites with eBay or whatnot. On regular Gundam sites, you should be able to get it at its regular price. But overall, yeah, pretty good model kit. If you find it, actually do see it, I do recommend getting it, because it's actually one of those kits that you're probably never going to see ever again. You probably will, depending if Bandai ever reprints them again, but like for the nowadays, it's probably going to be one you're probably going to be having to search for and see whether or not you're able to find it at a good price. Overall, G-Portent in my list, pretty great kit, and also it's one of my original ones that I got when I started the hobby, so I do have some bias and favoritism right here, because I do like design. But overall, pretty good model kit. If you do see, I do recommend it. But yeah, with that out of the way, folks, that is it for the review for the Gundam Portent. If you did like the video, consider dropping a like, share, and subscribe, as I always do appreciate it, folks. And as always, have a nice day. It is I, Pardon, signing out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.